Welcome to another live stream. I'm so sorry about my voice. I'm so sorry about it. I have barely warmed it up. I hope you're all having a wonderful Wednesday. I hope you're all having a wonderful Wednesday. Alright, alright. Um, so yesterday was a cool day, I guess. I didn't do that much work. I'll try to work today. Um, so anyways, welcome, welcome to um another day, another news cycle. Well, it's geek news, so you know it's good news. Okay. Uh, so I hope you're all doing well. Um, okay. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Opinion: why can't mainline Pokemon games learn from spin-offs? Okay, look, I'm not a big fan of Pokemon. I know. Gasp, shock, horror. It's so terrifying to know that I'm not a fan of Pokemon. I'm just not really into it. I've watched some of the anime, but I just can't get into it. It's so popular. I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. You know, a lot of people love it though. Okay, um, okay. Disabled gamer advocates. Wait, disabled gaming advocate faces backlash for claiming Elden Ring's difficulty in an accessibility issue. Now, here's the thing about Elden Ring: it's one of those very difficult games. It's meant to be difficult. From the start, it's meant to be difficult, and it's a very challenging experience. Of course, it's going to be very difficult for every type of person to play. Uh, okay, human nature actress Patricia Arquette calls to kick Russia out of NATO, blames the on dyslexia. Basically, this actress um, said people must kick Russia out of NATO, and now she's blaming a little mistake on dyslexia. New alien movie in the works from Don't Breathe director. Okay. We have a lot of news. Holy crap. Bounding into Comics gave us so much news today. Okay, laughing face, laughing face. Okay, they gave us so much of news. Oh my goodness, the amount of news we have. I read this, I saw this, I saw this. Ron Perlman accused former President Trump and Fox host Tucker Carlson of treason, claims they extol Putin's worldview. Now, here's the thing. I'm tired of the news about Ukraine. I'm tired about it. I'm tired of companies, pretending that they care about it. I'm tired, okay? I am very tired. But let's read this anyways, okay? Ron Perlman accuses former President Trump and Fox News host Carlson of treason, claim they extol Putin's worldview. Actor and left-wing activist Ron Perlman take to social media. Okay. And here's the thing: why bring it up? Why? Orange Man is gone. Orange Man is out of office. They have their little Brandon. They have their Brandon. They can play with him and whatever. Just think: Orange Man, Tucker Carlson, and Josh Ollie are the stars of Russian television right now. How? How do you? You're assuming that. You're just assuming that. Is the extol Putin's worldview? What does that even mean? What does it even mean? What does it even mean? Orange Man and Putin are two opposites. They may have certain commons. the end of the day, Orange Man is a different person compared to Putin, you know? Uh, However, just last week, the New York Times chief White House correspondent Pete Baker suggested the Russian president would have not invaded Ukraine under Trump. Yes, because the former president was unpredictable. Exactly. Orange Man was so unpredictable. Dude will call himself out time to time. Orange Man bad lives rent free in these libs' head. Exactly. That's 100% true. Brandon is in office. I still don't get why they're still obsessed about Orange Man. The dude is not in office and they still cry about him. Orange Man is barely in the news. Okay, he has no social media to post on, Truth Social, and like people get so pissed off about that. You know, Orange Man is still living in their heads rent free. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Brandon took out sanctions from Russia last year. So yeah, I'm just saying it's time that every state they would elect Republicans to represent them, and all of the rest of us separate. You don't want to live in my world, and I certainly don't want to live in yours. Exactly, Ron. I don't want to live in yours too. I'm not a Republican. I'm not an American, but I don't want to live near people like this. These people made California bad. People like this made California bad. All these crazy far left celebrities. They made California unlivable. Okay? I'm just saying they made it crazy. They basically destroyed that state and they still don't know they are the problem. Okay? Oh, the big bad Republicans. It's like, yeah, I get it. Some Republicans are stupid, but at the end of the day, it's like you need to understand that these people were the problem of their own problems. They caused their own problems. Okay? And I'm totally fine with America separating because certain people cannot stand other people. Okay? For the past 5, 6 years, the far left grew stronger and stronger, and they did not like anyone who disagreed with anything of theirs. So obviously, I wouldn't mind if if the country separated, because then we can tell who's the good guys and who's the crazy guys. Simple as that. Okay, let's read the comments because I like reading the comments. Stop caring about Ron Perlman's opinions long ago. James Wood is okay. James Wood and a couple other actors and actresses, they are totally fine. But there's so much of like annoying actors and actresses who always wants to ruin everything. You know, uh, if Trump were Putin's puppets, they would have invaded Ukraine in 2017 exactly. But that never happened. Hello, hi. So at the end of the day, it's basically pointing fingers of the past. Okay. So it's time to read another article. I just love this site, Um, as someone who just likes geek news more, it's very entertaining. I love geek news. Like, there's nothing wrong with real news, but the problem is it's so depressing, and sometimes you want to escape and read some geek stuff. Okay, so I hope you're all doing well today. For me, it's a very doomy, gloomy day because the weather is pretty bad. We are going into autumn, and it's basically, well, I guess we are in autumn, and autumn, it's a very strange season. Uh, I don't really know that much of it, to be fair. I always forget about it. But after autumn, it's winter, and winter will normally be for around like June, July, and stuff like that. And the winters are very cold. The winters are so cold over here. Okay, recently it's been getting colder and colder. So obviously one blanket is not good enough. You need so much of blankets. And after winter, it's more rain. It does not snow where I live, which is unfortunate because I never touched snow in my life. So yeah, uh, it rains instead. But of course, in springtime it rains again. So I'm getting 2 seasons, almost 6 months worth of rain, and it pours so much. I hate it. I hate it so much. Because it just feels so doomy and gloomy. But I love summer. Summer is the best season. Summer is the best season ever. Okay. Because our summer is on December. Starts from December. Okay. And that's Christmas time. Everything feels so special. Everything feels so good. That's the best part. Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter success drove outrage, accusations of white privilege from fellow writers. Now, as someone who's working on the themselves, I don't use GoFundMe or any of the other funding sites because I know for a fact if I cannot produce something, I will just give up. Snow sucks, so you're so lucky. uh, well, I haven't really experienced it yet, so I would like to experience it first. I live in South Africa, so only certain parts of South Africa get snow, and the rest of it gets rain. I'm in New York. Oh, that's cool. Hey, this is taking so long to load. But anyways, yeah. Um, I would like to live near the beach because it's so awesome, you know? For years I kept looking at beach houses. Um, I'll be so obsessed at them and looking at them online, wanting to move there, wanting to move near a lovely ocean. Of course, where I live right now is not a big issue. It's a nice place, but I would like to go somewhere where it's a bit more relaxing, a bit more fun, and a house. I want to have a long, big family. So obviously, I need a really big house so I can have hundreds and thousands of children. This is taking so long. You finally. No, I don't know that much about Brandon. I don't know that much about this Brandon. But of course, hey, I've heard good things about him. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Now, basically, Kickstarter, and it's the most popular Kickstarter in history. It raised like 20 million. The multi-million dollar of veteran sci-fi and fantasy author Sanderson's recent mystery novel Kickstarter drew outrage from his fellow writers. Okay, they basically said it's white privilege for him to have this much success. Okay, so a veteran sci-fi writer, this guy who has basically written sci-fi and fantasy in the past. Yes, the dude who has a lot of experience working with this stuff. Yes, for some reason, it's white privilege, I guess. It's crazy how it's just a random accusation, and people take that accusation seriously. You know. Now I don't know as much about this guy, but since the dude, made books in the past, hey, it makes sense for him to have this much popularity. Okay. Now I don't use Kickstarter to fund any of my projects. How I'm gonna fund my own projects is gonna be a very strange way. Basically, whatever I earn from my other projects, I'll take money from that and fund my bigger projects. That's the only way I can actually thrive with my future company because guess what? I don't really like to uh, have a Kickstarter. Maybe for others it's totally fine, but for me it's not. I want to have my work done and complete first. Then I can start selling. And whatever I make for my work, I can fund bigger projects, stronger projects. So yes, it's a strange way. Basically, earn money to uh, no, spend money to make money. Okay. Today is a really good day to support your favorite author who hasn't made 18 million in the past few days. Am I personally upset at Brandon for making money? No, not at all. Truly good for him. What makes it frustrated is that the writers are told that there's no big market for fantasy. Okay. Then we have people bringing the race in it. Okay. This runaway Kickstarter is totes origin story for Brandon Sanderson Presents, imprint wherein he shines a spotlight on publishing by POC authors. Okay, what? I don't get it. Can people write properly? Can people write properly? Okay. Now people are saying, okay, getting increasingly more irritated by the continued astronomical success of that Kickstarter. There's so much excellent, diverse sci-fi fantasy out there, and y'all intend to give a man $1 million. I mean, is people like his books, okay? Not because he's a man, okay? Not because he's a white person, because they like his books. That's giving him money. I read a bunch of his books. I read a bunch of his books years ago. Uh, okay. Because okay, he lacks creativity that comes with having a broad, diverse worldview. That's silly. And no, I'm not going to let him skate on his religious beliefs either. He's part of a church that hates people like me, that helped get Prop 8 passed, and is deeply racist. Racist. Look at the amount of likes this has. And people say, the SJWs are a small minority. They are not a small minority. They're a big minority. And here's the thing: people like him because his books are good. I guess he worked in the past on books. Hey, people like him. And now bringing his religion is kind of stupid. Okay, this has nothing to do with his religion, but trying to make it a problem, trying to make it a problem is annoying. People always do this if you are religious, especially if you are Christian. You know, um, he's part of a church. What church? Do you know what church he goes to? That hates people like you. Maybe if you weren't faithful, people wouldn't hate you. Simple as that. Okay. Now people are calling him privileged because he's a straight white male. That is so crazy, you know. And people believe that stuff. People believe if you're straight and you are white, you immediately get everything, which is not true. Okay, anyone can make it in this world. Okay, but hey, hey, people are just too stupid. That's some fantastic salt. Okay, basically they want you to say stuff that they like. Simple as that. And yesterday in my live stream, in my early live stream, I mentioned something very important. I mentioned, well, I think it was yesterday or the other day. When these woke people always try and change your pieces of work, let's just say you make a wonderful book, but it's not woke enough. They'll try and change that. But the craziest part is that they have thousands upon thousands of work for them, literally catered towards them, and they don't even care about that. They want your work to be changed, and then they'll move on to the next victim. They don't care about supporting your work. Simple as that. Simple as that. For years, I've been seeing this behavior. They complain about something. When it's changed, they still won't support it. There's hundreds upon thousands of work for SJWs if they want to support it, full with all the crazy characters that they like. They can support it. There's no need to change other people's work or force them or guilt trip them to change their work because of you. There's no need to do that. There is no need to do that because that's ridiculous. There's already a big market for SJWs out there. If they want to go and watch certain stuff, they can go watch it because there's so much of it all over. They act as if they get no representation. I've been seeing millions and millions of representation all over. They can go and support stuff like that and not try and change everything from other people's work because that limits creativity, that censors a lot of ideas, and it's pointless because okay, I still haven't got my privilege card. um, you know, um, it's a crazy thing that people still believe this stuff. Okay, so basically, here's the thing: if I make my visual novels and comic books and all my books, and even if it has one gay character, obviously it's not going to be a woke character. And if the woke people don't like that, I cannot change anything about that, unfortunately. And if they want something like a woke gay character, there's hundreds upon thousands of shows and comics for them, specifically catering towards them, and they don't even care about that. So, you know, they need to learn not to invade other people's work, you know? They love talking about Ukraine and Russia, criticizing Russia for invading. What are they doing? They're invading our spaces. They're invading our personal spaces and trying to change our stories, trying to change our pieces of work. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. But obviously, they're doing it in an annoying way. Okay. Rumor Amazon taps their expanse creators and the Wheel of Time showrunner for God of War live action series. I'm not a fan of God of War. I never got into it. I never did get into it. It's not my cup of tea. A lot of people, well, some of my friends would talk about it so much. I never understood that. Maybe this was their favorite series. I get it. I don't really know that much to say about them. But good for them if they like this. At the end of the day, I don't really, focus on stuff like this. It's not my cup of tea. Uncharted review: staleness from bland beginnings. Now, Uncharted is a movie based on a video game series. Okay, that's it. You know, Stephen Colbert says skyrocketing gas prices are worth a clean conscience. That is stupid. That is ridiculously stupid. The dude has been trying to cover for Brandon for so long. Okay, he's been trying so hard to cover for Brandon. The Hyperion's review: a superhero dramedy, is that even a word, with unbelievable heart. Now, if you don't know, Daily Wire has a bunch of movies. Now, they bought the rights of this movie, so yeah, it's going to be streaming for free tomorrow. So, yeah. And then after that, you can go and check the Daily Wire website to watch the movie anytime you want to. Now, um, last time when they were airing Shut In for free on YouTube, I wasn't able to watch it because I feel like certain countries was restricted from it, so I wasn't able to watch it. But hopefully this time I'm able to watch this. You know. Okay. So basically, this movie is something Daily Wire bought, and hey, that's good. They've been making a lot of like violent movies. There's nothing wrong with violent movies. Nothing wrong with violent movies. But a lot of people, who watch Daily Wire videos, they would always say that they want to see something more family oriented. They want to see something more about like calm stuff, not really something about blood or gore or whatever. And this is their movie. This is their movie that people can enjoy. A lot of people can enjoy. Now, as you can see, we have the artwork. It looks cool. I like the color scheme of this movie specifically. It is very bright and very colorful. Something that Daily Wire is not really used to. They normally have like these very very washed up colors, but okay. The Hyperion takes place in 1979, a pivotal year in human history that saw Pink Floyd release The Wall, the election of Margaret Thatcher in the UK, and the debut of Sony's portable Walkman. However, the story in question is rather small and self-contained, focusing on the film's three major leads: Vista Ansel and Professor Ruckus Mandelbaum. Vista and Ansel, two former Hyperion superheroes who have gone rogue, taking hostages inside the Hyperion Museum, housing the famous Titan badges. When slotted into a wrist gauntlet, The Titan badge grants each specific superpower tied directly to their own DNA sequence. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, I'm not really into the major superhero stuff. I don't really toggle with the superhero stuff, to be fair, because I'm not really a big Marvel person. And when it comes to DC, they always make their movies too dark. Okay, I will try to watch Justice League Snyder Cut, but but I just want to watch it because I watched the first Justice League, and obviously it was a very strange movie. I want to see what the original director's vision was. Uh, but other than that, I'm not a big fan of DC right now with their movies because it's too dark, too gritty. I love the Joker, but that was a different story from the regular superhero stories because when you're telling a superhero story, it's not supposed to be dark and gritty. Okay, Superman is not a dark and gritty character. He's a human character. He has human emotions. Okay, okay. So basically, there are some pretty women in this movie, by the way. Very beautiful women. um, when I saw this, I was like, dang, dang, pretty woman in a movie in 2022. That has to be very rare, you know. And look what they're wearing as well. You think people will even wear this in big, plus big, big, uh, big movies basically. Uh, okay, so here we have the pros, and I can't even say the term. How do people even say this word? I don't know. And a selectric and enthusiastic cast, fantastic and surreal cinematography, a charming and heartwarming story. The cons: a shortage of laugh out loud moments, very light in action, secondary characters underutilized. Okay. But still, it's a very lighthearted show. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it, okay? Okay, now a lot of people are having mixed opinions on this. A lot of people say they don't want to watch it. Some people say they want to watch it. I want to watch it, you know. There's nothing wrong with the style of the movie. People say that it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I think that's just the style of the movie, you know. Not everything can look like a big budget Hollywood movie. And the color scheme is amazing, okay? Everything feels good. There's actual diversity, proper diversity in a movie. That's amazing, okay? That's amazing. Finally, diversity in a movie instead of tokenization, okay? Finally, you know, you get a mixed cast of people, different race groups. That's amazing, okay? This is how you do diversity right. This is how you do it right without lecturing the audience, without shoving it in to make people feel bad. This is how you do it right. And hey, this is how you beat Hollywood. Okay. Now this is Daily Wire's third film. They have another one coming up later, which stars Gina Carano. Now I don't know what other movies they're gonna get. I hope it's some fun stuff like this. I hope it's some fun stuff like this. Because to be fair, there's nothing wrong with fighting movies, but sometimes you also want to watch some fun movies. I loved Run, Hide, Fight. It was such an amazing movie. Okay. Book Riot editor Danica Ellis advocates for sex in young adult books. Claims book can be a safe way to dress rehearse sex with no stakes. Okay, now this is a very strange article. This is a very strange article, okay? I don't know what to say about this. I don't know what to say about this. Um, hmm. Okay. Book Riot editor Nika Ellis recently advocated for depictions of sex in young adult books in a recent article for a web that claims to be the largest independent I can't even say it. I can't say it. Literally, literally, literally site in North America. Sorry, I'm sorry. I suck at pronouncing words. I can write words. I can write some really long words, but I can't pronounce them. Um, okay. She goes on to claim that sex should be in young adult books because a study of European teens across 6 countries found almost 60% of them had watched porn, and 24% watch porn at least once a week. But here's something I want to point out. Here's something I want to point out. Just because a couple of people watch porn at a young age doesn't mean it's okay for them to see stuff like that. People have been using that excuse a lot when it comes to like teaching children stuff in school about like sex and masturbation in school. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. Just because a couple of people out of a class of 30 watched porn doesn't make it right for you to show the entire class porn. What I'm trying to say is that they should not be seeing stuff like that. Just because a couple of people watched it doesn't mean everyone should watch it. Okay? When I was a kid in high school, when I was in high school, I watched porn. I was like like out of like a class of 30 people, I watched porn. It was just me and another person. That's it. Like two of us out of a class of 30. Just because two of us started watching it at a young age doesn't mean every single person must watch it. Okay? The information teens would get about sex education. Sex ed is a lie. Okay? They just want to teach about abortions. That's all they want to do is teach about normalizing abortions. It's not about practicing safe sex. It's not about teaching the repercussions of having sex. It's about teaching children, hey, you know what? If you have sex, it's okay. Just get an abortion. Just kill your child. You know? That's all they say. That's what sex ed is about. They don't teach them about the 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 basically what could happen if you have sex. They don't teach you about that. They just say you get pregnant, get an abortion. That's all they say. Sex ed is nothing but a lie. Okay, about teaching them to have safe, healthy sex. It's about teaching them to kill their child, not take responsibility. Okay, that's all it teaches them to be. You know, why can't we have a story about responsibility instead? Why does it always have to be about sex ed? Because sex ed just teaches about killing babies. That's all it does. It doesn't give us responsibility. Oh, I heard she is writing on her memoirs during a time on Epstein Island. The woke are eventually made up of nonces, the apologists of nonces, so this isn't particularly surprising. For people that hate sexualizing children in anime, they have no qualms doing it themselves. Exactly! Exactly. Anytime they see a character that looks like a child in anime, they cry. They say, oh, this character looks like a child. We have to ban it. But then the character is not a child. Take Uzaki chan. Take Uzaki chan. Basically, a couple of years ago, there was this character that popped up, and so much of people were saying this character is a child because she looked like a child. Okay, she looked like a boy basically with the short hair. She was like 19. She is 19 years old, and people said, "Hey, this character looks like a young boy." And they weren't saying it jokingly; they meant it in a strange way. This character, a 19-year-old character, they said, "Okay." And the craziest part of that was they got offended over that, but but people are totally fine with shoving stuff in children's work. Oh, anime is bad because of these child characters. Well, these characters that look like children. But then you have people like this, people like this woke writer wanting to talk about sex ed and all the other type of crazy stuff in um in these books for a younger audience. Uh, I'm working on a children's book, and I cannot write what I normally write on my adult books. I can't do that. I don't do that. Okay. I can't do that, okay? Because you need to understand you're writing for a younger audience, you know? So when I'm writing for children, obviously you can't show certain things, you can't have certain things, you know, at all. And that's totally fine. You should not be showing certain things to a younger audience, you know? As I work on my children's book, I don't want it to be a I don't want it to be an adult book. I want it to be fun. You know, there is going to be action scenes in it, but at the end of the day, the action scenes are going to be very somewhat sometimes silly. Or if a character dies, it doesn't really matter because the character isn't really a human character. It's just made up of stone or something like that. You know, at the end of the day, working with children's books is very different compared to working with adult books. You have to treat it very differently. You have to cover up a lot of things. You can't show off a lot of things. Uh, just remember, it's for children. It's not for you. It's for children. Okay. So you have to make sure that it's perfect for children. So when I work on my children's book, I have to think very carefully on what I can't show, and obviously that's a lot of things, you know. And plus, since it's also full with action, you can't just throw in a lot of gory scenes. You can't throw that in. You can't throw that in. So obviously you got to make sure it's not gory. You can't make sure uh it's so adult. You have to make sure it's for children. You know, am I making sense? I hope so, because at the end of the day, I don't want my books. I don't want my books. I don't want my books to basically be. Um, I don't want adult books uh for I don't want. Sorry, I keep mixing up my words. I don't want adult books for children. Simple as that. That's why I don't write it like that. I don't write my children's books for adults. I don't do that, you know? I specifically make sure it's written for a child, you know? Oh, come on, it's 2022, it's cool for kids now, lol, joking. You know, there are people who will just say stuff like that. You know, they're serious about stuff like that. And it's crazy how far we've gotten. You know? But this is basically for young adults books, basically for teenagers. And still, it's like, why does it why should these books have sex? Why why should it have? Why? That's the main problem. Why? You know, that's something very important to ask, because I don't get why people just think, okay, just because a small group of people watch porn, it makes it okay for everyone to see it now. No, it doesn't make it okay. Okay, groomers gonna groom. Radical idea. How about instead of pushing porn for kids, we let them enjoy the innocence of childhood? That's good, you know. When I stumbled upon porn when I was a kid, my innocence was lost. I lost my innocence so much at a young age. Okay, I was like 13 at the time. I know my innocence was gone. I felt grossed up. When you're a kid, seeing stuff like that, it does scare you. It does scar you. You know, stuff like this scar me. You know. But anyways, moving on. I want to talk about that topic forever. Sometimes it's a heavy topic to discuss. Okay. So, anyways, as I was saying, um, people would basically call Uzaki-chan a kid character, even though she's not. People would say she is, and you know, the same woke people are basically um, supporting stuff like that. So I'm just saying, the hypocrites, okay? Hypocrites. Okay. We have a couple more articles. Okay. Okay, the final article. Disabled gaming advocate faces backlash for claiming Elden Ring's difficulty accessibility issue. Now, as I said, Elden Ring is a game meant to be difficult. It's a game meant to be difficult. You're supposed to have struggles when playing the game. It's supposed to be difficult, you know? And that's totally fine. The game was supposed to be difficult. That's how it's supposed to be. And unfortunately, not everyone will be able to play it. Some people who just like casually playing, they are not going to be playing it. Obviously, they won't play it. They won't enjoy playing. But that's fine. There's so much of other games out there for them. Um, Basically, it's a market. It's a big market, in other words. And obviously, when you have a market, you have so much of things. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me just drink some water. I'm so thirsty right now. I'm back. Okay. Disabled gamer and YouTuber Steve Saylor has received backlash after claiming Elden Ring's difficulty was an accessibility issue. Saylor, who is partially blind, shared his opinion during a recent conversation regarding what he saw as Elden Ring's lack of accessibility options with journalist and fellow um, accessibility advocate Grant Stoner. In the video uploaded to his channel on March 1st, Saylor criticizes Elden Ring for having no menu narration, a text size and font size that is difficult to read, and a lack of options making subtitles more visible. In most games, you can't really change the size of fonts of um, you can't really change the size and fonts of um, certain games. Like in most games, basically, you can't change that. You can't change the fonts. You can't change uh, the text size or anything like that. You can't change the UI at all. It's you can't change the size of that. You know, I'm sure in some games you can disable and enable it, but just remember that it's impossible for most games for them to have an option where they can change size. I'm sure they can add it in, but they never really cared to add it in at all because they never thought it's going to be a problem, you know? I understand, and same, yeah, I saw it 10 and been screwed up ever since, lol. It's a very messed up thing, okay? um, Fun fact, I saw it by mistake. I saw it by mistake. There was this bot on Twitter that would keep giving me messages, keep giving me messages, and they keep giving me this link to Snapchat. Always give me this link to Snapchat. I clicked the link, I saw something, and I was scarred. I remember it was like early 2016 when I saw it, and holy moly, was I scarred, you know? Um, it was very scary. um, it was very scary, you know, because I stumbled upon it by accident. Um, and seeing that for the first time was just scary. And I was very disappointed in those bots sending me those messages. You know, um, I was very disappointed. At first, I thought they were real people, but no, they were bots trying to get more followers on Snapchat. Um, I'm just saying, it's a very strange experience for the first time. Um, and once you get used to it, it's an addiction. And sometimes when you addicted to it, you'll try and move on to different things. You know, you move on from one specific thing to another. You know, you go from uh you go from straight to maybe lesbian to maybe hardcore to maybe futa to stuff like that. You know, your preference keeps changing over and over because you get bored of it so quickly. You know, it's a strange thing. I wish I never stumbled upon it ever. You know, I really wish I never stumbled upon that or never got addicted to that at all. You know, I really wish I never saw it. Okay, um, my screen is stuck. Great, it's stuck. Ah, okay. So does does Elden Ring have a accessibility issue? You need to understand that the game was specifically catered for a certain audience, you know? Not everyone will play it. Some people can try to play it, but not everyone will like to play it. Not everyone can play it because it's just not for them, you know? I've sadly requested a refund of Elden Ring. The lack of accessibility for me to enjoy the game and the toxic soul fanboys I've had to deal with this week alone. I've had enough. No game is worth that. Okay, people should not harass this man. Okay, they can disagree with him, but they should not harass him. And when it comes to accessibility, I'm sorry, but not every game can be so accessible. You know, not every game can be so accessible. Yep, 100% is very sad. Not every game can be so accessible. And here's the thing: I thought accessibility meant also if a lot of people can play it, not just like disabled or not, but a lot of people can play it. You know, take Monster Hunter Rise for instance. Monster Hunter Rise first launched only on the Nintendo Switch. A lot of players have PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, you know? So for them, it was an accessibility issue, you know, regardless if they were disabled or not. But then, even when Rise came out on PC this year, it still is an accessibility issue because not everyone has a PC nor a Nintendo Switch. So at the end of the day, accessibility is all also about if it's available on different consoles, if it's available on different platforms. Okay, now people are responding to him. Update: I blocked a lot of people. I honestly hate doing it. I try to educate rather than ignore or block unless you come at my friends. But today was rough, and even though I gained some peace, I still hate it. Changing who can reply to this tweet. Yeah, it's crazy how Twitter had this update where you can basically limit how many people can respond to you, or you can basically just stop letting people respond altogether. It's crazy, you know. Twitter became a hive. You know, trust me, I was ratioed years ago. Okay, back in 2019, I was ratioed, but at the end of the day, I never needed that specific option. Okay, I had to deal with people harassing me or calling me bad things. I had to deal with that. A lot of people attacking me, or a lot of people coming after me. I had to deal with that. Now, obviously, harassment is not cool. Obviously, you should not be doing harassment, no matter what your opinion is. You should not be doing harassment. I don't care what it is. You should not harass someone over a silly opinion. However, when people respond to you normally and not really attack you viciously, that's totally fine. If they respond to you like a normal human being, that's fine. You know? Okay. Games are art, but except when the difficulty is a core component in the message that the developer is trying to send, then they're not inclusive enough. Now, this person is not really mocking the person. He's not mocking them in any rude way, but he's just calling them out in not really a rude way. It's not rocket science. You are simply not the target demographic for the game. I love the Souls game, but there's no reason that accessibility options could not be in these games. More people deserve to play them. Also, okay, he has a Ukraine flag. Also, do the Souls fanboys play every single game on extreme difficulty settings? No. It's not about difficulty, is it? It's gatekeeping. No! Oh my goodness gracious me. The Souls games are meant on difficulty, on really difficult difficulty. They are made upon that, okay? Not every game is going to be a Souls game, okay? Not every game is going to be like Dark Souls, okay? We have Young Ripper talking about this. At the end of the day, you need to understand that not every game is like Dark Souls, because many games have difficulty settings, okay? And some games play differently from Dark Souls, okay? And gatekeeping. What's wrong with gatekeeping? A healthy dose of gatekeeping. Because you need to understand gatekeeping is totally fine if it's totally normal, for normal reasons. People just don't want the games to turn out to be a boring, casual game. The Souls games are not really part of like these casual games. That's just how it is, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Not all games, books, movies, etc. are designed for everyone. That's the truth. Okay? If I make a game that's for adults and it has a lot of gore in it, obviously it's not going to be for everyone. Not everyone likes gore. I work on different genres. I work on horror. I work on fantasy. I work on adventure. Sometimes a mixture of both. Not everyone's going to like everything. Not everyone's going to like everything. Some people will not like certain pieces of work. But that's fine. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. I can understand that, because everyone is different. I realized that years ago. That's why I'm working on different genres because one, I love to work on different genres, and two, I can get a larger audience with that. Now, some people just want to work with a couple of genres, which is totally fine. Whatever floats your boats. I want to work on all genres, and sometimes when you work on something that's specifically horror, not everyone is gonna like horror, so people will just ignore that. So if I'm working on two genres, adventure and horror, people at least have a choice. Now, once again, I'm not comparing myself to the creators of Elden Ring. No, I'm just saying that from my point of view, from my perspective, that I've realized long ago that people like different things. So not everyone would like different things. Or the same things. People can like strange things or crazy things. Some people like horror, some people don't like horror. Some people like adventure, some people don't like adventure. Some people love 2D games, some people do not like 2D games. At the end of the day, it's all about the person. And, I want to make a lot of genres, but at the end of the day, not every game I make or every book I write or every comic book I write is gonna get the mass audience. There will be people who do not like certain pieces of work, but like my other pieces of work because it depends on the genre and stuff like that. I'm sorry about my voice, it sounds so crazy. That's just how it is. That's just how accessibility is. So if some people like my horror book, some of them may not like my romance books or stuff like that. People have different likes and tastes. Now, some people just want to work on certain things they like only. Like if you want to make a game only about horror and you're very enthusiastic about horror, you would make plenty of games about horror, okay? And that's fine. You can make whatever you want to make. Simple as that. And you can play whatever you want to play. Simple as that. Plot twist, he was actually advocating for himself, disguising difficulty as accessibility so people would change his name to Steve Soiler. These people prove time and time again gatekeeping is a good thing. It is. It's a video game. If you ain't good at it, find another one to play. It's not like you need to live. It's not like you needed to live. I mean, it's about time people made video games in Braille. I'm surprised they're trying to beat this dead os again after it blew up in their face with Shakiro. Shakiro. I remember that game. It was very difficult. People did complain about it. Sounds fine over here. Okay, thank you. Sometimes I do worry about my voice and sometimes my microphone because it does sometimes have issues. Okay. Boo-hoo. Not every game is for everyone. I've beaten Ninja Gaiden Black, Devil May Cry 3, and Goals of Ghost. Get good in actual hard games before crying at me. Elden Ring already accommodate mentally. Oh my goodness. Uh, oh my goodness, I can't stop laughing. Elden Ring already accommodates mentally ill people with body type A, B instead of male and female, and these people are still complaining. These complaints never end with these guys. Now, really, they have a uh, body type A and B instead of male and female. That's crazy. If you don't know, a lot of game companies are now switching from the terms male and female to basically body type 1 or body type 2 or body type A or body type B. Basically, they don't want to gender your characters, which is crazy because the body types are already gendered if you look at the body types carefully. The male or the body type A or body type 1 looks like a male body. Body type B or body type 2 looks like a female body. We know it's male and female. They change the words around because they don't want to offend people. And that's very annoying, you know? That's very annoying. It's so annoying. Monster Hunter Rise did that. I was so pissed off at that because at the end of the day, Monster Hunter Rise always had gendered names for their body types. They always had that. They always did. They always did. And all those progressive people who cheered that change for Monster Hunter Rise, you need to understand many of them are pissed off at the game itself for having revealing clothing, revealing armor. So at the end of the day, you can never please these people. When it comes to my games, if there is a male and female option, I'm going to call it male and female. I'm not going to censor my words. I'm not going to censor my words to please a mob that don't really care about my work anyways, you know? And this person is right. They already accommodate to these types of people, but it's not enough. It can never be enough. That's why you should never, ever even think about these types of people at all. They're not your core audience. They never care about you. Simple as that. Okay? If they're going to complain like this, stop bending for them. Simple as that. Calling it A or B, body type A or B instead of male and female, that's a problem. That's a stupid problem. I am body type F. Lol. Okay. Okay. Um, I have a bad feeling for gaming in the future because gaming is going to become this very dark thing. It's going to become a problem where basically we have to basically bend to the lowest denominator, and that'll suck so much. You know, I don't want to cater to an audience that does not like me, that wants me dead. Okay, I don't want to do that. I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. I wish many game companies did the same thing. Stop catering towards people that want you dead. And if people get offended over my games, I can't do anything. I really can't do anything. I'm just gonna sit there and do nothing, you know? I have a lot of interesting games about marriage and stuff like that, you know? Games about finding true love. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna change everything to please the mob. I even have an idea for a game where you rescue women. Yes, you rescue a woman. You just rescue them. And obviously you can choose a male and female option. But still it's gonna be called male and female. I'm not gonna call it body type 1 or body type 2. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'll never do that because I refuse to do that. I refuse to bend to these people. These people are very rude people. Okay? Very rude, very evil. Okay, I guess that's it for the articles. So what did we learn from these articles? Number one, accessibility. Well, when it comes to accessibility, it's not just about disabled or not, it's also about the platforms they're on. And Elden Ring is on plenty of platforms. They're on PC, Xbox, PlayStation. They are on a lot of platforms, you know? So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, that's accessibility. Now, I understand certain people won't be able to play it because of certain things. I totally get it. Unfortunately, the game never really had that in mind. The game's focus was obviously people who just, well, I guess just wanna really play really difficult games. Simple as that, you know. And if you don't like it, that's totally fine. Certain games I can't play because it's too difficult. I won't play it, and I'll stay away from it, you know. But it doesn't really mean you need to change the entire game because of you, you know? The game already made a name for itself, being very difficult, and that's how it's supposed to be. If that's how they wanted it to be, that's how they wanted it to be. That's just how it is, you know? That's the truth, and nothing but the truth. If I want a game to be uh, a very easy game, I will make my game very easy. But if I want my game to be very hard, I'll make it very hard. You know, it's all about how the creators and how the design team and all the others how they wanted the game to be. Basically, you know, it's a team effort, and the games itself, the Souls games, already made a name for themselves being very difficult. They're supposed to be very difficult, a challenge compared to regular games. So that's the truth. Okay. Um. So yesterday I was eating cotton candy. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. I hate when it gets wet because it gets all hard and crystal like. What else? Yeah, I also ate speckled eggs yesterday. Speckled eggs are so much fun to eat. When I was a kid, I hated that. But it's very fun to eat speckled eggs. They're basically chocolate coated candy with jelly beans inside. That's basically what it is. Anyways, it's been 1 hour, and it's almost 9 o'clock. I've started this live stream very early. I will do more early live streams because there's nothing wrong with early live streams. I like to do it much more early. I used to record videos very early, around this time, long ago. So I'm totally fine with live streaming early in the morning. I'm totally fine with that because it's fun. It's fun to be early in the morning, because obviously in other countries, uh, for them this is like nighttime. For them this is nighttime. For me this is early in the morning. It's almost 9 o'clock, and for other countries it might be almost midnight. So some people are still awake, some people are still lingering around.